what do we call it?
What's Cooking Wednesday?
What's Cooking Wednesdays. That's where we're at right now. We're going to share with you a full-on Irish corned beef and cabbage dinner.
Potatoes.
Corned beef.
Cabbage.
Let me know. Comment down below if that's something you've had. If you like it, hate it. Corned beef is one of those things that a lot of people don't like it. And
yeah, I'd never had it till I married him.
yeah.
Because I think my parents had it when they were growing up at some point and it was cooked badly. So they just nixed it from menus from there on out.
And I kind of think that's what happens a lot. It's one of those dishes that you have, and if it's done bad, it can be really, really bad. And it'll turn you off, and then you won't want it anymore. So let me show you how I do it, how we prep it.
How we make it good.
How we make it different, our twist on things. Because that's how we like to roll. Nothing's straightforward. It's all a little bit different, right?
Add a twist.
Add a little twist. So that means it's time to get cooking.
Yep, oven's heated,
all right.
Water's boiled. Let's get to work.
Here we go. Okay, here's the corned beef we got. This was actually from Costco. This is a corned beef round. Typically what you'll see is a brisket cut for corned beef. The second cut you'll see is the round. I prefer the brisket, but this one was a good price, so that's what we got. It is what it is. Let me open it up. All right, there it is. It's a nice lean looking hunk of beef. Nice fat cap to it. That's gonna cook up real nice. All right, so my preferred method, and as a meat guy and as a barbecue guy, I know what I'm gonna say is a little bit sacrilegious to some people, but I don't care. It works for me. This is gonna go into a pot of boiling water on the stovetop. And here's why, and I'm gonna show you, we're actually gonna do it twice. I'm gonna put it in the pot. As soon as it gets to a boil, the water's gonna get drained. Then we're gonna refill it and we're gonna do it again. I'm gonna leach some of this salt out of this beef. There's way too much in there. I don't need it. So that's where we're going. We're going into a pot of water on the stovetop. All right, so the water just is starting to show some bubbles. I'm just gonna set it in there. As soon as it is at a rolling boil, I'm gonna stop, drain the water, refill it with just tap water out of the sink, and right back on the burner. When it comes up to that second boil, that'll be my next process, my next step. All right, so we got one head of cabbage. Cabbage is one of those things that if it's not done right, I don't like it. I think doing it this way is going to be good if we're going to roast it. I'm going to cut 1-inch steaks out of this head. We're going to go from the top down, trying to leave them intact so that they stay as actual steaks. So let's try. Okay, so we got the cookie sheet here. We got some olive oil. Gonna give the pan just a little drizzle and then make sure it's everywhere. I'm gonna put the steaks on. And now just to give them a little bit more, we have some fresh garlic. After I drizzle a little bit more oil on top. See if I can do this without getting crazy with it. Just a little blop of garlic. Just eyeballing it. Just make sure everyone gets a little bit of garlic. The thick one, I'll put a little bit more. We're gonna go a little bit of pepper. Just a tiny amount of kosher salt. I say kosher, I prefer kosher or sea salt. I don't like the regular table salt. Use what you got though, it's all good. Just a little bit. And just for fun, we have a bottle of California garlic and herb seasoning. I don't even know where we got it, but at this point, anything you want, you could just keep it like this and that'll be fine. And this is gonna go into a preheated 425 degree oven for 15 minutes. And we're gonna take them out, flip them over, and then 15 minutes more. So in the oven. Okay, so this to hit the boil point, we kicked it off for just a minute because we weren't quite ready, but it has boiled. I'm gonna take it to the sink, dump the water off. I'm gonna refill it. It's gonna go right back on the burner. All right, so you can see all the white foam on the top, that nasty little layer. That's what's coming out of the beef. That's what we're drawing out. So I could have cleaned the pot a little bit better in between, but whatever. We're gonna get more of it out of the beef with the second round of boil. And now's the time to add that little packet that they give you. Throw it in there just to give the a little bit more flavor. And we'll wait for another boil.
Alright, our next component to this dinner is the potatoes. And rather than doing the boiled potatoes along with the meat, we're actually going to turn these into smashed potatoes. We're going to take a pot of water, add about 2 teaspoons of salt just to give the water a little flavor, and in go our whole potatoes. We're going to bring these to a boil for about 30 minutes, maybe 35. We want them to be fork tender. Once they're fork tender, we're going to pull them off and I'll show you how we smash them and season them.
Okay, so you can see how much more foam is assembled on top. That's all the stuff I was trying to get out. I don't want this to be crazy salty, and that's a big problem with corned beef. So we're going to go out of the water, into a baking dish, roasting pan, whatever you got. So from here, I'm going to wrap it in foil. The whole thing. And it's going to go into the oven. Because we already have the cabbage steaks going, it'll go at 425. I'm going to check it in about 30-45 minutes.
Alright, the final piece of our traditional St. Patrick's Day dinner here is an Irish soda bread. I will preface this by saying this is our preferred style of Irish soda bread. We do like it a little bit sweeter. I know traditionally I think there's no sugar, it's just 4 ingredients: flour, salt, baking soda, and milk. But we do it a little different, so let's check it out. In my bowl here I've got 2.5 cups of flour. To that I'm going to add 2 tablespoons of white sugar. Got 1 teaspoon baking powder, 1 teaspoon baking soda, and 1/2 teaspoon of salt. We're gonna give those a whisk all together. Next we have 3 tablespoons of butter, and this is our delicious Kerrygold Irish butter. So how much more perfect could you get? Got a little over softened. And we will cut our butter until it's coarse and crumbly. Alright, that's nice and mixed in there. I have 1/3 of a cup of raisins that I've plumped up in some warm water. I'm going to drain off the water and then the raisins will get added in. Toss those around a bit to get them coated in flour. That helps them from becoming one big blob as you make the rest of the bread. I have here 3/4 of a cup of buttermilk. You may need the whole 3/4, you may not. It really just depends on the weather and how moist the air is. You're gonna only put in enough milk to make this come together in a ball. Start with about half of it and go from there. Definitely need more. Alright, and the rest is going in. Alright, my dough here's looking a little bit dry still even after adding the 3/4 cup of milk. I'm going to add just a touch more. Alright, had to get in here with my hands a little bit. That spoon just was not cutting it. Alright, that looks good. Alright, we're going to turn it out onto our little worksheet here and knead it a couple times till it's nice and smooth. We're going to shape it into a nice ball. We've got our 9-inch pie plate that's been greased. It goes right in the center. Gonna score the top in an X. And this will go into a 375-degree oven for about 35 minutes.
Alright, time to flip these cabbage steaks. Great color to them. See how this works. And boom. Not bad. Boom. They're not sticking. Oh no, I jinxed it. The outside edges want to fall off. That's alright. So I think they got enough of the olive oil mix, but I'm going to give it just a little bit more salt and pepper. Okay, back in the oven. Okay, it's been about 45 minutes. Here's what that corned beef looks like. Take a couple temperatures. See how it pushes away from me? It's going to be a little bit under from what I want it to be. 190. Not bad. It's close. So here's another 190. So basically at this point, I'm going to put it back in the oven uncovered. Continue to cook it, which will also help brown it and give it some better color.
Alright, our potatoes are out of the water. You can see that they're nice and tender. The fork goes in really easily. I'm going to take a nice cookie sheet, drizzle a little bit of olive oil. And smear it around. Alright, here we've got 3 tablespoons of butter mixed with 1 clove of garlic. Brush a little bit on the potatoes. I like to do a little bit before I mash them. It kind of keeps the potato from sticking to the masher. And you're going to gently smush each potato. The idea is you want them to stay together. You don't want to turn these into a plate of mashed potatoes. And we brush them again. And make sure you get lots of that good garlic on there. Alright, use up all the butter on these potatoes. That's what's going to get them good and crispy. This is salted butter, but we're going to go very lightly with a little bit more kosher salt. A little bit of pepper. And just a touch of parsley to make them look pretty. There we go. And then these are going to go under a broiler for about 5 to 10 minutes. You want to keep an eye on them. You don't want them to burn, but you want them to get nice and crispy around the edges. Okay, the soda bread is almost done. So I'm going to brush it with a little bit of milk. And sprinkle it with a little bit of white sugar. I wish I had some of the really thick granulated sugar to put on this. It would look a lot better. But I'll just make do with what I've got. There we go, and back in the oven to finish it off. Alright, the potatoes are out of the oven. They are crispy and they smell delicious and they're super hot. Let's finish up everything else and put this dinner together.
Alright, so the cabbage steaks are done. Got a beautiful color. They smell good. I like this style better because they're not slimy and waterlogged. I like that little bit of a char on the edge. These should be killer. Okay, corned beef is now officially one step away from being done. I was going to say officially done, but it's not quite. From here, it's going to go under the broiler also. 5-10 minutes. Get that fat layer good and crispy and darkened up. Get the edges good and crispy as well. And we'll be right back. Alright, corned beef's out of the broiler. You see it's got some nice little dark edges to it. Just like with any other roast, especially beef. Find where that grain is running this way. And you want to make sure to slice against it. Now let me show you. It's gonna be hot. See, it doesn't string apart. It doesn't fall apart like mush. It's got some texture to it, but I didn't have to fight to get that pulled apart. Got that nice little layer of fat on top to keep things moist. Beautiful slices. I'm still in a bite. All right, let me finish slicing this up. Okay, here's the finished platter. We've got the oven roasted cabbage steaks. We have the smashed garlic. What else did you do these? Salt, pepper, buttery garlic smashed potatoes. We've got the corned beef in the middle, and we got Jessica's delicious soda bread here. I'm gonna steal a couple bites for you, and it's gonna be dinner time for everybody. All right, so you saw me swipe a bite of the corned beef. I'll do another, just a little one, but you see again, it's not falling apart on its own. I have to pull it. It's got a little bit of textures to it still, which I like. I don't like that mush where it's just stringy and falls apart. Excellent corned beef. Not too salty either. That's a really good way to have this. Pull some of that salt out. Let's see. A little bite of the potato. Can you see that? That's really good. The cabbage is gonna be too messy for me to pick up like that. I'll deal with that with dinner time, but I think we're gonna wrap it up now. Come on in, because now it's time to eat.
Yep, it's time to eat.
All right, guys, thanks for watching. Make sure you hit that like button, subscribe, and share these videos with your friends. Comment down below. Let us know if you follow any recipes, if you love corned beef, hate corned beef, love cabbage, hate cabbage.
Exactly.
And that's it. All right, guys, thanks for watching. Catch you next time.